Welcome to Your Brand Express podcast. I'm your host, CJ Allen.
And I'm Carl Allen.
And together, we will take you on a journey to where entrepreneurship meets culture and cool.
So get ready to elevate and expand your entrepreneurial spirit as we explore the dynamic and ever-changing landscape of the business world.
So, sit back, relax, and join us as we bring to you the ultimate vibe and help you experience your brand like never before. Let's get it. Woo!
All right. Okay, everyone. We're hanging out with the lovely David and Carol Washington. How you guys doing?
We're doing good, man. Good to see you.
Wonderful. It's so good to be here with you two.
Yes. Great to have you aboard.
Good stuff. We're honored to be here.
Yes, love it. It's been a long time coming, and we are finally here.
Lots of visions, lots of dreams, and stuff starting to happen now.
Well, yes. We look forward to talking about it. So excited. I mean, just seeing. I mean, David and I had conversations about the whole on-camera thing and the podcast thing, and then seeing Carol's brand, your brand. We're going to talk about that, and then seeing David's brand. I'm like, wow, okay, it's amazing to see how things are unfolding. And so I was like, we got to have you guys on board and talk about this. We got to find out more. I want to know what's going on. So CJ is going to ask you the first question.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, even just to begin, could you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves and you guys' brands, for the audience?
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So already introduced, I'm Carol of David and Carol Washington. Some people call us the babes. Some people call us the washboards. But David and Carol will suffice. David and I have been married for almost 30 years.
Wow.
We've known each other even longer than that. It's been a journey. We are now empty nesters and really starting to look more towards the latter years of our lives, honestly, to set ourselves up for financial security. I'm already retired. It's kind of how my brand came to be. I was really forced into retirement due to health issues. And I had a decision to make. Either I was going to let the health issues get the best of me, or I was going to make the best of it. And so I really started thinking back about some of the things that I'm passionate about. Of course, I'm passionate about my family. I'm passionate about doing things that I love. Some of those things were woodworking. I made headboards. I did crochet. I crocheted clothes. Then somehow all that morphed into me making jewelry. David bought me one gift, and that gift covers all these different things that I can make. It's called a Cricut, and I'm not endorsing anybody, but I taught myself how to use that Cricut. And you can make things from household decoration to jewelry to clothing. And that's kind of how my brand morphed. And so one day David asked me, what are you doing? And I was like, making stuff. And it went from making stuff to I'm making it. And then when I realized I couldn't possibly make money, I started making gifts, and people wanted gifts. And so I thought, okay, if they want gifts, then I can sell gifts. So the name came Making It by Carol, and that's kind of what the brand came from. So mine, I focus more on wearable art, jewelry, t-shirts, and sweatshirts.
So I'm David, and as Carol already shared, we've been married for almost 30 years. Come July will be 30 years. And we got two sons that are both married. So as she mentioned, we're empty nesters. We've been empty nesters for a while, which is, as parents look forward to that when it comes to empty nesters. It's fantastic, I gotta say. So yeah, we're both empty nesters, and we're definitely at a stage in our life where, because we're empty nesters, there's a lot more we can now focus more on each other's goals and being able to help each other, versus having the kids, you always want to do your best and be in it with your kids and help them to be successful and sort of set them on their path. And we've done that. And so now we just sort of, okay, now the focus is now on us. And so, Carl, like you mentioned, you and I talked a while back, probably about a year and a half ago. And we were talking about, because I was writing poetry, and that's my first love, my first passion is writing. That's what I do. And I was talking about not wanting to be on camera, or even not really wanting my voice to be heard. I'll let someone else read my poem, kind of thing. That's where I was going. We talked about having a brand. And so once I got the poetry books, I published the 2 books and getting a lot of positive feedback from that. And, I'm really into fashion, and I don't mean fashion as far as nice suits, and which I think is great. I'll have a nice suit on from time to time, but I like to be comfortable, what I'm saying? So everyday wear, that I see everybody wearing, the hoodies, the sweatsuits, sweatshirts, hats. I see the women wearing leggings and different things on that end. So that's how the good look came about. Is I look good, I feel good, and I feel like my clothing, my brand is a story in itself. And so I think everybody who wears it, everybody has their own story as far as what makes them look good. And so I think that brand caters to everyone who wants to look good, want to feel good. You put the clothing on, and like I said, there's a story behind every single person who's going to wear that brand. So but that's my brand. That's how I got it going.
And the interesting thing about both our brands is our philosophy is simple selves. I'm very minimalistic. We decorate minimally. When we're dressed up, it's statement pieces, but not a lot of clothing. Right. And so we just believe that simple is authentic.
Ooh, I love that. Simple is authentic.
Yeah.
I love how you all talked about how even with you, David, how there's everyone has a story behind, like what they wear, and that's cool. And it's interesting you say that, because I was talking to a gentleman on Saturday, and he shared about his story, but it was kind of from the point of, I've been through this, I've been through that, I've been through that, and he didn't feel great about it. But he was like, but I was like, whoa, that's what a powerful thing. All the things that we go through in life brings us to the point we're at, and even behind clothing, there's a powerful story. And so when I hear about what you said, I'm like, wow. Then I think about me, like I have a lot of context behind what I wear.
Yes.
Whether if I feel like wearing something, or if I want to feel comfortable, and I want to have an attitude of this. I just feel like wearing this because I want to be laid back. That's a story.
Right.
And those are things that is so easy to take for granted. So that's why I say that. But a story's powerful.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and I know that like I said, everybody has a story, but I want to hear people's story. I like telling my own story. A lot of that comes out through writing. Again, as we discussed before, through poetry. A lot of that comes out through writing. But even in the way I dress, a lot of folks are asking me, hey, where'd you get that? The very first time I wore my Good Look sweatshirt to work, somebody asked, hey, where'd you get that? And I said, oh, this is my brand. And they were like, what? Can you get me one? How can I get one? And I was like, somebody wants this, And then I came home and told her, and she was like, well, make one and sell it. And I was like, there you go. And so I just kind of went from there, doing that. And then again, Carl, like I said, I got to give you a lot of props, because you really got me motivated. Back when we were talking, a lot of things I felt that you believed in me and what I was trying to do. And sometimes that's all it takes is one person to believe in you to get you going. And you was that person for me. My wife had always been that person, but it's one thing when it's your wife and then versus someone else saying, hey, you can actually do this. And so you was that guy for me. So
wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you, my brother. Wow. Whew.
Crazy, because we were just talking about familiarity. Like, you can get familiar with what one person's saying. Like, I know I can get familiar with what my dad says often, very often, because I'm so familiar too.
Right.
It's not nothing against
It's
you,
true though, CJ.
Yeah.
It's very true, because there's a lot of things that over the years I've been trying to push David in the forefront to do, because honestly, I'm not saying this because I'm his wife. he has a presence,
Mm.
and I think he has a lot to share. And so
Yeah.
this is really encouraging for me to see him bringing it to fruition.
Well, both of y'all have a presence looking so young. Y'all look younger than me. Y'all
Yeah.
look younger than me. And Carol, with your brand, you know, it's cool how you like that that idea of simplicity.
Yeah.
You know, and that takes a lot of courage, because you could think, well, people want this and they want that, and you could assume that, but you're like, look, no, this is just me being me, but I know that there's an audience out there that just wants that.
Yeah.
And even with that, there's a story behind that
Right.
whole idea of simplicity. And even where we go in society, we move away from simplicity so much. So behind the scenes, it's so refreshing to get that message
Yeah.
with your product, you know?
Yeah.
And for our audience, for those who don't know, just to let you know, we're talking about two separate brands, but this is intentional because this is a couple. This is a power couple doing their thing. And this episode gives you permission. If you are a power couple out there, or if that's been on your heart or mind to do something that's a dream you have, here is a perfect example for you.
Oh,
and you know, I'll even add too, even though we do have our two separate brands, they work so well together. I mean, definitely we've always worked together as, you know, husband and wife, but then to have a separate brand, Making It by Carol and Good Look, they complement each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They really do. And so one of the things that I've always said to her way back is, wouldn't it be great if we were able to work together? And this was before any type of ideas that we would ever come up with. And, you know, we was like, yeah, that'll be cool. And you just kind of move on through life, you know,
Right.
not really thinking much about it. And so we feel like we're at that point now where I feel like God is saying, hey, are you ready to do it now? You know, like, here's your opportunity.
Wow.
And like I said, we're at that stage in life now where we have the opportunity to take up what God is actually putting in front of us. You know, a lot of times you ask for things, you pray for things, and God goes, here it is. And then you go, well, not yet. You know what I mean? So we feel like the opportunity is presenting itself. And so why not jump on it? So that's kind of where we are right now.
Uh-oh, CJ, I think I'm hearing that word we talked about some weeks ago, calling. I think I'm hearing that word, calling. Man, when you hear calling, yeah, you got to listen to that calling. And it's so great that you all listen to that calling. And it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like it's just organically coming together. Of course, there's work to do. Yeah, right? You know, behind the scenes, but it just seems like it like, I know you all, just to give our audience some background, and just your marriage, your relationship. And it's been such an example to myself and Teresa, my wife. But even to see your brands complementing each other like that, reflecting your relationship, is powerful to see.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and it's been nice too. Sometimes I laugh because I am so not a girly girl, and you would think a girly girl would be the one creating jewelry. Honestly, the skill I just looked up what was trending, what did I like, what do I think people like, and literally sat down in front of YouTube and taught myself how to do it.
Wow.
And the fact that it came out looking the way it did, it is nothing in of myself. It is totally a calling that God is qualifying. So yeah, it's been fun. God has a sense of humor for sure. And I've just been enjoying the ride.
Love that. Love that. And so, you know, I think even from what you all said, it kind of answered the question of like what made you pursue what you're doing now. It's like you organically came into it and you got that calling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's beautiful to see.
It seemed like everything fell into place, you know, because if this is something we would have tried to do, say maybe even 5-10 years ago, it probably wouldn't have turned out the way it's turning out now, because there was a lot of other things going on that really needed our focus. But again, as I said, with both our boys on their own path, both of them married, they're doing very well. Not that our job is done as parents. However, we can now talk about the dreams that we once had, or talk about new dreams that we've had, because you don't stop dreaming just because you get to a certain age. You don't think, well, certain things can't happen anymore because here's where I am. It's just a matter of remembering those dreams and going after them and continuing to dream and bringing those things to fruition. Again, not that it's nothing that we can actually do on our own.
Right.
You know, again, I think God has to instill something in you, but then you have to have sort of great people behind you and sort of giving you that push, giving you that confidence that you need. And so we've gotten that over the years.
Nice.
That has got us to where we are right now. So we're excited. This is fun. This is actually fun. That you don't look at it as, man, I guess I gotta stay up late so I get this done. It's like, give me some coffee. I gotta get this done late. You know, you want to be up making sure you're getting it done, you know? So it's exciting.
You know,
Sweet.
it's interesting though. So we do have two people that we want to be just like when we grow up. And believe it or not, it's Porter, our son, and his wife, Nicole. Porter has a clothing line and Nicole has her own online store. And so we actually have two people within hand's reach that we can tap their shoulders and get advice and input from.
Sweet. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. And it's so cool that it's your son and your daughter-in-law. That's powerful. Man, there's a theme there. Family, man.
Yes,
I tell you,
absolutely.
if you can do this with family, it's a blessing. There's a lot of people that can, and that's okay. But if you get that opportunity to do it with family, and it could work out, because
Yes.
there's some cases where, you know, they could be dangerous.
It could be,
Bumping heads all the time.
Yeah.
But what a way, you know, and I value that a lot, because I think about that. And I feel blessed to be able to work with my family, Teresa and CJ, and even the younger ones too. You know, it's great because I think about it reminds me of leaving a legacy.
Yes.
So you get a chance to pass off with one another. CJ could leave a legacy with me. You know, Porter could leave a legacy with you all. Nicole could leave us back and forth. Same thing. You all can leave it with them. And it's just powerful. It's a continual cycle of greatness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people pick up on that. And that's interesting, because one thing I was going to ask you about too is, like, you know, what are some ways you've used marketing to promote your brands? But honestly, that's kind of a way too. You know, you're just the essence of what you do speaks for itself, speaks volumes. But that was, you know what I mean? I'm not sure if.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I'm never one to want to, you know, when I was younger, I used to want to be by myself a lot. And for whatever reason, that I'd like to be by myself, but then I would miss out on a lot of things too, because I'd rather be by myself, you know. But as I got older, I realized how important it is to have people in your life, you know, to whether you can say, oh, this is my best friend, or, you know, there's always somebody that, you know, you can turn to for whatever reason. And as I got older, I started to see more and more how important it is to have those people, whether it's a family member or just a friend around the corner. And so I look at where we are right now and what we're doing. It's nothing that we're trying to, just the two of us do this, you know. I'll give her advice, she gives me advice. We're bouncing things off other people, and asking them, what do you think about this? How do you like this? I mean, even you're talking about, you know, we want our friends and our family, we tell them, hey, can you help me? If I give you this, can you help me do this? You know, can you wear some of my product and sort of put that on your social media platform? You got a lot of followers. Maybe they would see what's going on. They would ask you questions. Hey, where'd you get that from? Who made that? We know we need people to make it.
That's right.
You know, there's no question about that. And we are okay with asking for help, you know, in that regard. Hey, can you help us do this? We know we can't, it's something we can't do on our own.
That's right.
And so asking others for help, we are okay, we are okay with doing that. So we'll ask family to, you know, sort of be influenced or our brand ambassadors for us, you know, to help push our products. And we've gotten some great responses. You know, folks want to help out. And so we're just forever grateful for that.
Yeah.
I love it. CJ, that's what you call. Oh, go ahead, buddy.
No, I was just gonna say, like, that's like, I love that, because it's like, it's a good amount of humility to say, like, oh, I need like, even like my son to make it, you know. Look at that, like, kind of really cool. Like, I would look at my dad, like, you know, in some type of way, like he got it, he got it. But the fact that he relies on me and you rely on your son is pretty cool.
Right.
But just like, your crew is your team. We can put each other's brands on social media. We can use what we have to get the good news out there. It's really awesome. Love to see that.
Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say that's old school right there. That's that good old school right there. Just you depend on the relationships.
Yeah.
The relationships you have and the relationships you build. And that's powerful, because sometimes people want to say, well, do this and do that and jump through all these different hoops and build funnels, and man, that stuff is important. I believe strongly in that stuff, but to build the relationships, sometimes that's I don't even know. I'm not even gonna call it an art, but it's sometimes it's missing. When people are marketing.
Yeah.
And it builds. People want enough, and you find that people want to help you.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a lot of it. That's, for me, is what's most encouraging is when somebody wants to help. They even offer before you ask. Many times, or they just say, "Hey, let me know if you need me. I got some. I can give you some great input." And I'm just like, "Wow, okay." And I always keep it here, so I know where to go if I need that input. Sometimes if I feel like I don't need it, I'll just bounce something off them anyway, because I know I don't know everything. And there's time sometimes you just don't know what you don't know until you realize, oh, I didn't know that. You know what I mean? So that's just, you got to ask questions. And when somebody brings something to you, we're both in a position where we're okay to recognize that we've just been helped, and we're like, oh, you know what? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So that's kind of it's this cycle of life, pretty much. It's what it is.
Right.
And I think a lot of times people think that the resources aren't out there unless you pay for them. And it's not true.
Right.
In fact, a lot of times I started in different forums. So there's a lot of different e-commerce platforms that are out there. I started with one particular one, and now I'm on a different one. But one of the things that I find is that there's blogs, there's different chat rooms, there's all kinds of things that you can participate in and get ideas and support for things that you don't know how to do. And I think people think you have to pay for all that kind of stuff. You don't. You just have to have what CJ said, is humility to say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Does anybody know how to do that? And, it depends on what kind of rooms you get into, but for the most part, people are willing to help each other. I think that idea of the market being saturated, like, oh, everybody makes t-shirts, or oh, everybody makes sweatshirts, or everybody's making jewelry. True, but everybody has money too that wants to pay you for those products. And so if you stop at the thought that the market is too saturated and you don't even put your foot out there, it won't come to you. But if you have just that one little ounce of faith and some courage, there's so many different resources that it's enough out there for everybody to be successful. David and I would be the first ones to step out and help somebody trying to do the exact same thing we're doing, even at this early stage. We're not out there yet. We're still trying to get out there. But if somebody wanted to join us on the journey to figure out how to get out there too, okay, join us. We're not trying to take any money out of anybody's pocket.
I love it. Love it.
You're hard with that. That's dope. I wanted to I had a question, like, because I remember Carol said that her brand is like simple, on the simple side of things, which is great. And David, you go for like the comfortable look, which I like both of those. I think both of those right there. My question would be like, how do you guys like go about standing out from other people? How do you guys go about diversifying your look and what you guys make?
Yeah. So the first thing I think of is quality. My materials matter to me. So that's one of the reasons why I started off with just giving stuff away as gifts, so that people could actually have stuff, wear stuff, test out its longevity. I try to use sustainable products. David does too. So I'm David's hype girl and behind the scenes.
Hey.
So when David is searching like the base quality of his stuff, I make sure that it's sustainable materials. I think it's really important to be able to listen to feedback, whether if it's critical, critical feedback. You got to be willing to listen and willing to listen to what somebody thinks it would make that product even better. So I think quality, listening, and really just being willing to change. Sometimes what I think is the best thing for a product might not necessarily be the best thing. I used to shop with a particular vendor. I found out that I didn't care about the ethics behind that vendor. So I switched. Time frame, how quickly can I turn over a product to people? All these things matter to people, and it does go into the brand and what people will think about the brand itself. So those are just a few of the things that I think are important to help me stand out or to help David stand out.
Yeah, I think on the same lines. A lot, pretty much everything that she said, but being able to communicate with people who are actually buying your product. It's one thing to buy a product and you have a question about it and you have to send an email or a phone call and you don't ever get a response. So I want to talk to people. I even a lot of my friends and family members who have purchased hoodies or hats from me, I always say, hey, send me a picture of it. Put it on. I want to see how you look and let me know something. And they'll send it with thumbs up or they'll send me a text message, dude, I love this, or whatever it is. And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear what you think about it. And so I think being able to communicate and have that personal interaction with folks who are buying your product. You want to hear from them. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What more do you think I should have? Like even I got a friend at work who was asking me about another product that she was, hey, do you carry this? And my thought was, I don't, but I can get that.
Right.
So now I know what else people are looking for because she wasn't the only one who mentioned this. Someone else had mentioned the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And so it's different things like that. Being able to have that open line of communication, whether it's through email, like I have an email address, and like I said, people who that I personally know that know my phone number will send me text messages, and I like that.
With first-time orders, we give out a free gift. We want people to come back. We want people to say, hey, I remember ordering from them and this is what they did for me. I didn't even expect that. We give out free gifts. Somewhere down the road, David and I want to stand out by doing a give back program. We want to be able to contribute to charities. So we're not trying to get rich. We are looking for happiness and fulfillment, and it comes in more than just making money.
Yeah,
love it. That's powerful. And it's cool. That's value driven. Your values driven, and that question that was asked. How you can stand out. That's like you just being you and being driven from your values. And it's funny because I was having a conversation with one of my partners where we talked about it was in the context of quality, but if you live off, I forgot how the conversation exactly went. And it was just today too. It's one of those days, right? But the point is, it's just powerful. Values go so far. Oh, this is what it was. Yeah, a lot of people can focus on the money, but if you focus on your values, you can have that balance. Because if, people talk about scaling a business, but the thing I said to him was, I'm more interested in scaling my life.
Exactly.
Which does include the business, yeah, but that's secondary. That's a result of what, even for me, God's calling me to build with my stewardship, right, that he gave me, which includes my family and my wife and my kids and my communities. And that's everything else is it just follows that organically. And it's cool to see where the other way, I know for me, I'm gonna try too hard. It's just it's difficult. And then I run myself ragged. Then I'm gonna show up not happy. So
I think, CJ, too, thinking about your question, we talked earlier about keeping things simple. And that's kind of what we do as well. We just want to be simple. And for me, I'm a very simple dude. I like things to be easy to get to. Even our websites, they're very easy to navigate through.
Yeah.
It's extremely easy.
So true.
And I think that's because I know what works for me. And so my only thought is, I'm sure there's a lot of people who like easy. So I got to keep it easy for everyone else. And it seems to work. So I think it's something that we really want to stick with, is doing what's easy.
I love it. And that's cool to see too, like what you're building reflects your experience, reflects where you came from. So the people who are like you, or they're kind of some steps behind you in some ways, just with, just in life or stage or whatever, they're, I'm not sure if you noticed it, but they're kind of, it seems like they probably follow you in your mindset so much, so to speak, like, hey, I want simple. I'm just simple.
Right.
I think about me, I'm complicated. I'm an enigma, which is, I used to feel uncomfortable about that, but I'm like, yeah, that is me. I don't know. It's just, maybe it's the artist in me.
Right.
But I love that we can be different though. But I know that there are other people like that though.
That's
and I think that's important to pick out, whether it's, that's weird, which I love it though. I embrace it. But there are people, the point is there are people like that.
Right.
That can follow in those footsteps, and that could help them along in their journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Oh. So my question is, what are some practical tips for creating a compelling, like an online store that could resonate? Now I know you mentioned a little bit like keeping it simple.
Yeah.
That's huge. Anything else that comes to mind?
Yes, I think humanity. Honestly, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, and honestly, I haven't even gotten to the part of implementing it yet, but it's very soon to come. I think people need to see the human side of my storefront. So my online store has been in existence now for over 2 years. And it's been a journey. I'm glad that I didn't go into it thinking I was gonna have instant success. Honestly, for me, the success was getting it live. So we'll see what happens from there. But I think that what was missing is my face. I didn't have my presence anywhere out there on my website. I didn't have any pictures of people that I personally knew, and I didn't have any live reviews. So I did kind of like what we were talking about just a few moments ago, having people that we surround ourselves with, mentors and peers, and just bouncing things off of people to get advice. That was a huge element of advice that I'm going to implement right away. In fact, David and I have a photo shoot coming up on April 15th. Where we're just going to get our face out there, and we're going to get the face of people that we know out there, or even people that are just our loyal customers. We do have a loyal customer base now. And I think that we kind of saw that starting to happen before the advice even came, because people were talking to us, but we weren't putting out there what people are saying.
Right.
And so I think that is huge as far as really getting a notable brand out there, that we could talk about us for days to you, but if what we're doing with our online stores don't reflect what we're saying to you right now, we won't have that trust in the community for people to actually want to buy from us and continue buying from us.
Yeah, I second all that too, because like you said, having someone wear your brand is different than you go look at it. You can look at an online store and you have models that are wearing brands. You don't even know who that person is. And I have no issue with that at all. But when you have somebody put on something that you made, and you know that person, and you actually know them, and you kind of know their style, and they put something on that you made, and they go, dude, this is me. And they're feeling it. It's a different kind of feeling that you get, when you brought something to somebody and you just wasn't sure how they will feel about it. And then they go, so so you feel some kind of way about that. And so you kind of need that. But like she was saying too, to have maybe somebody who doesn't know you, but they see your face, and they see your average too. You know, you're not too much different from them. A lot of times we can relate, or we feel like no one can relate to us.
Mhm.
And then when you see somebody actually can, and somebody does relate to you, again, you kind of the walls can come down. So the walls kind of come down. A lot of people walk and they're just protected for whatever reasons that they have. And people have things they want to say and things they want to share, but they won't, because they don't think anyone is like them. No one thinks like them, or no one might act like them or dress like them. Whatever, you can go down a lot of different roads with that. But to know that you look just like someone else, or you act like someone else, or someone gets me, you kind of feel that,
Mhm.
and you kind of want to run with that. And I think what Carol has shared, getting her face out there, allowing people to see who she is. And for me as well, like I said, Carl, I can go back to way back when you and I were talking. I was like, no one needs to see me, He was like, oh, yeah, they do, And so you have to, I had to embrace who I am. This is me.
Yeah.
This is who I am. I love who I am. And so here you go. And so to get others who say, Dave, I love who you are, I'm embracing who you are, that's special.
Yeah.
And to have people say that to her, I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Then, there's another part to that too. So the other thing that I think people need to know, that their information is safe. I mean, we're living in this era of cyber stealing.
Yeah.
So
Cyber craziness. Cyber crazy.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
There's apps out there. David and I both were verified by Trusted Site. It's an app. So they literally verify you, who you are, your banking methods, everything. They verify all of it. And you can use their seal mark, so that people that there are actually people out there that look for different things to make sure that their information is safe when they shop online.
I love that.
Smart, honestly.
Yeah, that's smart. And it's interesting too, like what you mentioned too, what you all mentioned before, when you're able to show up and say, look, I love myself, and that's a healthy way.
Yes.
Because a lot of us, for a lot of different reasons, we're taught to not love ourselves. And this is definitely a crucial time for that. So when your brand shows up like that, you're giving other people permission to be themselves as well.
That's right.
And I love that. So needed.
Yeah, for sure.
It is.
Absolutely. You hear a lot. I know, several years ago, in the job that I'm in now, I had a boss that was telling me, in order to get a promotion, hey, be like him, like this guy, and do these things. And I thought the person he wanted to be like was great, but I couldn't be like him because I'm me, And so he does some great things. So my thing was, okay, then I'll just do some great things too. I can't be like him because he's him. I can only be like me.
Right.
And so I had to, like I said a few minutes ago, is embrace who I am, embrace myself, and then just run with it and allow people to see who I am, so they wouldn't tell me to be like myself. My goal was, okay, tomorrow I'll just be better than I was yesterday. And then I just had to keep doing that every day to be better than yesterday. Be better than yesterday. And it's just an ongoing thing. And that's kind of when I'm at work now. And I have those types of conversations with people that I work with, people that I'm training for management, different things on that, and they'll ask me certain questions, and I'll say, no, just be like you. And then tomorrow, be better. And then the next day, be better. And they kind of look at me and they go, huh. It kind of clicks. They're like, oh yeah. Kind of like, almost like you get an aha moment. Oh, I didn't know I could be like myself, just better.
Right.
So you're right, Carl. We go through life being told that we have to be a certain way other than be yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so you don't hear that often, someone telling you to be yourself, but just be better tomorrow. And so that's kind of how I go at everything. I'll do something good today, then tomorrow I'm gonna try to do it better.
Y'all, I'm so excited. I get to hear this stuff every day.
Yes.
You guys are hearing this. I'm so happy.
Go ahead, Carol. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. The floor is yours.
Dave,
Don't you say a word, David. Let her speak.
No.
He just has a lot to give, and I'm
Mm.
glad he's getting this opportunity to
Thank you.
give it.
Yes, yes. And that, my friends, is a good look.
Good luck.
2 times.
That's right.
That's
You got
awesome.
questions? Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, just everything you guys are saying is so true. I think the question I would have is just how like how important is social media in promoting what you guys do? Because you
Wow.
guys, I mean, I love like you guys have teams and stuff like that, but how important is like social media with promoting, you know, your brand and everything?
Um, I love social media. Now that I understand it, thinking way back,
Or the
when
little bit that you do understand.
yeah, the little bit that I do understand. But I'm getting up there in age. I don't know stuff. I'm like, what is that? You know what I mean? But when social media first came out, you kind of think, well, I don't really think I need that. I don't need to look at this, or so I don't want to follow the crowd. Everybody's doing Facebook and all these things, But I like social media because it's a way that people have those platforms to be able to express themselves. We can express ourselves and what we're doing on social media. We have folks who will buy our products that will express themselves how they feel in our products. They say, hey, you can go get this, and they're tagging their friends on their social media platforms, and those are things that we love. We love to see that, and to have someone send you a message saying, hey, my friend bought this hoodie from you. Where can I get one from? And I'm like, I don't even know that person. But I'm like, oh, here, go check this out.
That's
So
dope.
social media is huge. You kind of think back and like, well, how do we live without it before? Kind of
Right.
kind of thing. But I think social media is in as far as trying to promote things, I think social media is a fantastic way to do it.
Yeah, I do too, and it's free.
Yeah.
I mean, free is of more value than what people realize. I know David and I didn't realize the value in free advertising. I remember I approached David probably about a year ago asking if I could buy ads, because you can buy stuff on social media too. So I got the approval, but I didn't do it because then I got advice from somebody and they said, no, don't go that route yet. I'm not saying never, I'm saying don't go that route yet. And she told me to apply with Google. There's so many different things that you can put yourself out there. And I'm so grateful for that advice. Now, do I need to do more? I know for sure that I need to do more. But like I said, David and I are just starting now.
Right.
And now I'm really starting to understand the value of being consistent. It can't be just a pop in, pop out. There has to be some consistency.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I love seeing I'm seeing what y'all have. I'm seeing people like this, and they got their hats, they got their hoodies, and I love your whole aesthetics, Carol. The yellow and I don't know, it just has it has a Carol touch to it, and it's so authentic. That's the thing. It's so authentic, and the cool to see how people engage. The engagement is pretty cool. So I feel like you all have something. And I feel like I personally believe everyone's unique because there's no one who can be like you. That's why I love when David says "be you." Although we're similar in so many ways, everyone has a unique story. And just even hearing this episode, which I look forward to people hearing it because I'm loving hearing your stories. So many stories out there, and I'm like, that's what people got to hear too. They got to hear your stories because your stories are powerful. Because there's so many people that can relate. So many people that can relate to what you all were saying today.
Yeah.
Carl, I think even you saying that is powerful because you can hear that. You can hear somebody telling me that you have a powerful story, but then sometimes you don't even believe that.
Exactly.
And it's very easy to be there, to feel like, yeah, okay, well, thank you. And you're like, yeah, I don't got nothing. And you kind of feel that, but I believe that we do. I believe that we have powerful stories, and we're not the only ones with powerful stories. There are many powerful stories out there. I would love to hear people's powerful stories. I want to hear them. I want people to hear more about what we do. And as you know, Carl, the poetry books I put out, a lot of them some of them are personal experiences, and some of them just my imagination, just going for it, you know. And I just write stuff, I write stuff down. But they're stories in itself, and they're always something that somebody can relate to. A poem that I wrote, you know, or a short story that I wrote. I know somebody can relate to them because we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different things going on in life. We're all unique in our own way. And so everybody can relate to something or someone, but the goal is to be you. But you can look at someone and go, I can relate to that. And you can change up whatever it is you want to change up, or add something to your character or how you want to grow and stuff like that. But Carl, you're right on point. We are all unique in our own way, but in another way, we are similar.
Right. That's a whole other episode. Woo!
Yeah, man.
Well, it's interesting though, because David talks about his poetry, right? He talks about his photography, and he talks about his eye for fashion. It's all self-expression. And so when he came up with Good Look, all of it actually merged into one. So I don't want people to hear him talking about all these different categories and think, this dude is all over the place. No, he's not. They actually meet in the middle.
It's connected. I could totally identify with that. And CJ, just say, Dad, be quiet if I'm talking over you. I'm just excited. Yeah, that resonates so much because I think about my background too, just with the entertainment industry. And a lot of people were like, Carl, why you stop doing this? I didn't stop doing it. I just stopped speaking about it online more.
Right.
But I knew that everything was all connected, but I couldn't articulate it.
Gotcha.
But there are things that are just so, you may seem all over the place, but it's just so connected in such an intimate way, which is rooted with our self-expression. Which is rooted with our communication that people need to hear. And so at the right time, people, they're going to get it. The right people, they're going to get it. They're going to understand. You know?
You don't have to understand it right now.
You ain't got to understand it right now. It's not meant to be for you.
Right.
But the people it's meant for, it's gonna come to them at the right time. And I tell you, again, it gives them permission in ways that sometimes people just can't articulate. And it shows up in a brand, whether it's clothing, whether it's a Making It by Carol piece of jewelry. And by the way, I was so proud to give Teresa. We gotta see that on her. But it was so special having you all on today. I mean, I'm blown away.
We definitely appreciate the opportunity. Definitely appreciate it.
Oh man. Yeah. So if one wants to find what you're doing, where can they find you online?
Well, go ahead. Please.
So my website is makingitbycarol.com. And my social media presence is Making It by Carol. So it's just as simple as that.
Simple.
Simple. That's what it's all about, man. My website is GL for goodlook.com. That's GL, the letter 4, goodlook.com. My email address, if anybody wants to email me, is glforgoodlook@gmail.com. And I'm on Instagram, on Facebook. Instagram is GL for Good Look. So I put a lot of stuff up on there. And again, I have pictures up there right now of friends who sent me pictures. Once they got the product, they put it on and wanted to tell me how much they appreciate it. So that's where I live. That's where I'm at.
I love it. And speaking of products, do you mind if we unbox something? And is it okay if we put them on? Should we do a drone?
Let's do it.
Okay, CJ, should we do it at the same time? Should we do it one at a time? CJ, how do you want to do it?
You count down.
Countdown, and we do it together?
Yeah, cool.
Okay. 3,
let's go.
2, 1. All right.
There it is.
How about that?
Oh yeah.
I might be very too, actually.
Oh, CJ, we gotta go out somewhere and take some pictures. So we're gonna send you some pictures too. Is that okay?
Oh, for sure.
Please do.
It's good.
Sure, send that.
We gotta do that today. Oh, I'm feeling this.
There we go. Yeah, mine's
Stands out.
Love it.
There you go.
Love the logo too. The logo's tight.
It's simple, man. Simple.
Simple
It's simple.
Simple.
Well, y'all look good.
Y'all look good in those.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this wonderful gift. So are there anything you want to leave our audience with? any other words of encouragement you may have for our audience?
I really think that if anybody is wanting to trudge through these waters, give themselves grace. Start simple with user-friendly environments. Go to YouTube University.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And don't go into it thinking that they're gonna get rich quick. Or that there's minimal cost involved. You definitely are gonna have to count the cost and make sure that it's right for what phase of life you're in right now. It takes work.
Yeah, and I would only say, don't let someone, not even yourself, stop you from dreaming. And that'll be my only advice. Don't let yourself or anyone else stop you from dreaming.
I like that.
Ooh, that was good. I would high five for you too. I was like, ooh, that's good. I didn't want to interrupt you, but ooh, that was
not even yourself. That's
dude.
Yeah.
You give it
hey, sometimes you gotta get out of your own way.
I was in my way.
Yeah.
I was definitely in my way.
Yeah.
I heard motivational speech right there. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
That looks good.
Dave and Carol, it's been great having you. And there you have it.
Thank you.
There you have it. Good luck. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode.
And if you haven't already, please be so kind and give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And we'll see you soon.
Peace.